Hello everyone and welcome to Musicians Edition Piano Lessons. I'm Evan. In this video we're going to be taking on some sight reading, a little bit of practice of playing right and left hand together when they're doing some different things here. So I'm going to be pulling from the Czerny Book of Exercises, which is a really popular one for right and left hand exercises to dive into here. So it will be two treble clefs, one stacked on top of the other, one for right hand, one for left hand, all melodically with gaps of up to a fourth. And so it will still be a good challenge for us, good practice of sight reading. We'll do the sight reading part of it with just one hand at a time. When we combine both hands together here, the biggest focus will be just, can we do this with both hands at the same time? How quick can we get that going as well too? Because both hands together, they're not going to match up that well. So it'd be great practice for that. So let's go ahead and look at that sheet that we're going to take on. So as I said, we got two treble clefs. We're playing in common time here with a mix of just half and whole notes, so it gives us a nice good amount of time to read ahead without putting too much on our plate here. This is fairly easy within the first few Czerny exercises as far as these go. If this is new for you, it'll definitely still be challenging, especially when we combine the hands. One hand at a time sight reading, not too hard here, but because the left and right really don't match up much at all here, they're doing completely different things. It'll be quite difficult when we do pair them together here, so it'll be great practice of right and left hand together for those looking to practice that. So some good things. Our hands do not have to move for this one. As we see the sheet, it's only going to be the hand in one position, just bouncing around on the different keys here. They also included finger numbers on here, which this is probably the only one I'll include finger numbers for since we're just kind of getting into these. I don't want that to be a crutch for you guys that you rely on, because you can just read finger numbers and see which one to play versus actually paying attention to where these notes are. So I'll include it for this one, but after that I'll probably take these away because I don't want you to rely on them too much, because not every piece we play is going to have finger numbers like that for us. And I said it is relatively small gaps up to a fourth. So for that, I'm going to focus my reading on reading those gaps or intervals as opposed to naming each individual note. If you have seen my recent videos on sight reading, you know I do like to focus on those gaps or intervals between the notes. So if you do go ahead and look at this first set here of just the right hand, if you were reading strictly note names, you'd be reading G, and then, okay, next one is a C, and then I'm going to B, and then A, and then G again. That would be reading strictly note names, which is not what I do, especially when you have small gaps like this. For me, I'm really familiar with my intervals, so I see G, okay, I have to name the first one, and then I see up a fourth, down a second, down a second, down a second, same note, and then just keep going on like that. So you have that option you can do if you are familiar with intervals. That's a great technique. If you're not familiar with those kinds of intervals, you can also just pay attention to the gaps and what it means for your fingers. So I could also read the first note as a G, and then instead of saying fourth, second, I can just say, all right, up three notes, down one, down one, down one, same, up one, same, and just keep going like that, because that's really what I'm trying to communicate to my fingers. Since I'm really familiar with intervals, my brain can kind of work like that, where I know what that means for what my fingers should do. But if that is new for you, you can just do gaps and what it actually means for your fingers. So that's going to be the quickest way for you to get through this, most likely. Now, let's go over to the piano and take this thing down. All right, so we will tackle this line by line, and we will focus on just sight reading one hand at a time, and then we'll put the pairing together. So we'll take down just this first line here of what we got so far. So let's look at just the right hand to get this thing started. We'll see if we can sight read through this and how quickly you guys can do that. So here's the right hand, and so we're playing pretty high up. Everything is above the actual treble clef, so you would have to be familiar with, again, at least just one of these notes, which is just going to be the first note to be able to get through this, and then we'll just do gaps after that. So that first note is, that top line of the treble clef is an F. If we go one note higher than F, we'd be at G. And so we are two Gs higher from middle C, so you can find yourself that way, so middle C. One G higher would be the second line of the treble clef. We're one G above that, right there. So we can see that's where our two fingers gonna go. And so a reminder on finger numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. So I know my two fingers gonna go here. That's where they're telling me to play it. Again, we're not always gonna have finger numbers. So without that, I'd just be kind of looking ahead to see what's the best position for me to be in based on if I'm gonna be going higher or lower than that note. But I've got those to help guide me on this one. So what I can do here is I know I'm going to play G first. And again, it's just half and whole notes, so the rhythm's pretty easy. So I'm going to be playing G. And then for me, I read a fourth. For you, you might just be reading up 3 notes. And so the fourth is the same as like going from C to F. That's the biggest gap we're going to have in here. So C to F is a fourth where we actually count up 1, 2, 3 white keys. And again, we're playing all white keys in this one. So this would be a fourth, this would be a third, C to E, this would be a second. But you could also just pay attention to how many fingers you're going to be going up by counting on this sheet. So this one is a fourth where I'm going to count up 3 notes up to that pinky. So 2 up to 5 the pinky, that's going up 3 notes or that fourth. Again, don't try to overly rely on these finger numbers because they will not always be there for you. But I can read up 3 notes, and then just down 1. Since I'm on a line, I'm going down to just the space below. That's just 1 note below. Down 1 more from that space to the line right below it. Down 1 more, which puts me back on G, playing that twice. And then 1 more time as a whole note after that. And so altogether there, that was pretty easy. Just a fourth at the beginning, and then seconds, and then just that same G over and over again. So you should be ending on G if you're reading that right. And the rest of this, you can see from that last G, the whole note, we're going up 2 notes, not the line above, but the space right above that, so that'd be counting up 1, 2. And then we see we're going up 1 more note to the line right above, and then back down a fourth, which is what we did at the beginning, which puts me back on G. For 2 hits there. So this one is pretty easy to sight read if you are familiar with those gaps. So we'll practice that as we go through this even more. But again, one more time through would put me like this. If you're having any trouble with that, go ahead and practice that a bit more. That is going to be it for the right hand for this first part. It's pretty easy, but you'll see it does not pair very nicely with the left hand. They don't really match each other or work similarly. They're very different, and so we'll be taking these on as their own separate things here. So let's go ahead and look at that left hand. So for this left hand, we're closer to middle C. So I can see I'm starting off on this E right here. I'm going to eventually go down to middle C with my 5 finger, which is my pinky here. And then going to be floating right around this area. So my hand is going to always stay in this position versus my right hand would always be in this position up here. So when we do play them together, this is where you're going to want your hands at. Your hands will not move. It's just finger coordination back and forth between the hands here. So left hand, let's see if we can get through this one sight reading it. So I can see, I'm seeing a third at the beginning, which would be down 2 notes. And then I'm back up a fourth, down a third, up a third, down a third, up a third, down a third, and we'll keep going on like that to see if we can figure that out. So I know for sure I have to name the first one, which is E, and then I'm reading down 2, or down a third. Now up a fourth or up 3 notes, then down that same gap a fourth, up a third, down a third, up a third, down a third. And then this puts me at up a second, up 1 note, up all the way to my thumb, that's another fourth, down 1 note or a second, down a third or 2 notes, back up 1 note, back up 2 notes, back down 2 notes, back up 2 notes. So if this way of reading is new for you, I hope you do find it helpful instead of reading, E, C, F, C, and so on like that. It's really just much quicker for me to progress like this. And so now I can just, again, paying attention to those gaps. So I hope that isn't jumping too far ahead here, but let's break that down. We'll go slower through this one more time here. So again, starting at the beginning on E. So E, down 2, up 3, back down 3, up 2, down 2, up 2, down 2, up 1, up 3, down 1, down 2 more, up 1, up 2, down 2, and up 2. That's what I'm reading every time through this, is just those gaps, whether it's the interval name in my head of fourth or just the length I'm going to be moving up 2, down 3, whatever it is. That's why I read this. And so one more time all together, this is what we have. 1, 2, here we go. Not all that hard. There's some repetitions in here which makes this a bit easier. And again, you have finger numbers there to use to help you, not be your complete guide, of course. But that's where we have that for the first line. And now comes the very, very hard part of putting these things together. So I would try to make sure you're comfortable with these things separately. If you do look at these together and see it as a big challenge, it's probably even harder than what you think it is when you first look at this. So do try to get comfortable with these separately. So I'll play them one more time by themselves before we pair them again together. So let's look at both of them, but just play one at a time. So I'll have my fingers in the position they need to be, and I'll just play the right hand one more time so I can remember it and be okay with it before we come back to do them together. So right hand again. I'll count us out at the pace we'll go at here. 1, 2, here we go. Okay, keep practicing that if you're still not comfortable playing it consecutively all the way through. Let's do that left hand one more time. So 1, 2, here we go. All right, doing great so far. Let's put them together here. Very, very nice and slowly as we do this. So we want our hands in position. We want to know our starting keys. We're playing both E, our middle finger, and then this one is G with our index. That's where we're going to start. We go to both of our 5 fingers, but it's in different directions, which makes this a bit difficult. So we're not both going right or both going left. We're separating. So we're from here back to our pinkies out here, since we're up a fourth with the right, down a third with the left. So one more time. Okay, here it goes, getting a bit harder again here. So we're pairing down one note with our right while we're going up a fourth with our left. So that puts us here. And then down one with the right, down the fourth with the left. Okay, so we're going down one more with the right to our 2 finger. Left hand is going back up to the middle finger, up that third there. One more time, we'll go down a third with the left, right hand stays here. Right hand still stays, left's gonna repeat that again. Okay, so let's make sure we have that before we take on any more. Let's do that one more time. So very, very slowly, let's see if you guys can keep up with this one. 1, 2, here we go. Okay, one more time to make sure you have it down. Let's go about the same pace. 1, 2, here we go. All right, and let's keep on moving from here. So right hand's gonna go up to our 4 finger. That's up a third from where we were. So we're gonna be up here. We have our other 4 finger playing, up a second from where it was, right here. Right hand's going to be holding with those whole notes while the left hand plays, so it makes it a bit easier here. So here we go. Left hand up to our thumb there, up a fourth. Right hand stays. Left hand goes to our 2 finger, down 1 from the thumb. Oops, so that was... And left hand plays by itself. Right hand coming up to our pinky, up 1 more note from where it was. Left hand down to that middle finger. So So this one is the trickiest part for me because my right hand's going down a fourth. My right hand's going down a fourth. My left is going up a third. I think both need to be kind of going the same direction, so I've caught myself thinking I need to go down here instead of actually up here, but we're doing the opposite here, so here it is. Okay, so this last half starting from both forefingers here, right in the middle of this sheet, so we're playing right here. Left hand keeps going up a fourth, then down one, right hand stays, left hand goes down a third, and we're in the middle here now. Remember, left goes up. There it is. Okay, so again, this becomes more about can the right and the left hand do this together? If we've already read this ahead of time, I know we can play it ahead of time with both hands. Still pairing it is difficult. So let's do this all the way through nice and slowly, and let's see if you can keep up. If you need to practice anything before you're ready for this, go ahead and pause and do so. 1, 2, here we go. There we have it. We'll try to go a bit quicker here, so see if you can keep up with that. I'll speed it up just a little bit before we take on that second line. If you're struggling with this and are dreading that second line, it's very similar, so don't worry about that. There's only a couple changes in there, so it is nice and similar. We're not taking on something completely new. So one more time here. Let's see if we got it. 1, 2, here we go. On your own time, of course, see if you can push yourself to go quicker and quicker. Let's take on line 2. Again, right hand, let's see if we can go quicker now with our sight reading of this. So I will try to not help as much as I was before and see if we can still manage. So same position for our right hand. So you'll see a lot of similarities in here, so we'll be able to go quicker through it. The first half is exactly the same. The second half changes though. So here we go. So again, starting off on G, the first half I said is exactly the same, so here we go. Couple changes here. We were playing whole notes for these next ones. Now it's half notes, but we're still going up 2 notes right here. Up 1 more note. Pretty easy right hand, probably even easier than it was before. So here it is one more time. So let's play it together to make sure you got it. So 1, 2, here we go. And we should be finishing off, as you look down, you should be finishing on C for that right hand to make sure you got it all right. Let's go to the left hand, same position again for this one. First half is again exactly the same. Second half will change up just a little bit, only in the last 2 measures it looks like. So, we're the same at the beginning, so let's go quickly. We're starting off on E again. We'll be playing the E, down 2 notes, up 3, down 3 again, up 2, down 2, up 2, down 2, and then up 1, up 3, down 1, down 2, down 1 more, up 3, and down, or sorry, that's up 2, that's a third, and down 2 back to our pinky, and we should be finishing on C. So both hands are going to finish on C in this last line here. So one more time, let's do this left hand, make sure you guys got it. I'll count it out. 1, 2, here we go. easy by itself. Pairing it with the right is where we will have some trouble. So both first halves were exactly the same. So we know we can play that if we already did it last time. So nice and slowly, let's just do the first half, then we'll take on the second half after. So I'll count it out. 1, 2, here we go. Okay, familiar, easy, just like the last time. Easy if you have it down from last time. Second half, we're changing it up. So get our hands in the position that they need to be in, and remember, right hand is going to just be playing more half notes instead of the wholes it was last time. So here we go. So that's going to be starting off on our forefinger, which is on B right here, and our left hand is playing D right here. Okay, so here we go. Right hand, very easy, just playing that same note 4 times, then it's going to jump up to that pinky to play it 3 times. So more of the focus should be on what the left hand is doing here. So here we go. And then both pinkies, and finish on both pinkies on C's there. So really, I think this line's easier because the right hand, it's just, okay, same note 4 times, then same note 3 times for this back half here. So let's do this back half one more time. So starting there, I'll count us in again. 1, 2, here we go. Keep on practicing that if you're not ready for it. We will put together this whole second line. Again, the first half is what we already did. Second half seems pretty easy, so let's do it together here. 1, 2, here we go. And that is it together. Keep replaying me playing this. You can play along with me, or pause it and make sure you can play this. We will go ahead and combine it all together here and make sure we can play it all. So remember our similarities that we have. So the first half of both these lines are exactly the same. The second halves are similar, just some changes in there. So make sure we're ready for that. We will go ahead and do this nice and slowly. I'll go even slower than I just was there to make sure we can put everything together here. We'll do one more time a bit quicker, and that'll wrap it up for us. 1, 2, here we go. Second line, let's go. There we go, and our goal should be playing this faster and faster, getting more confident with our right and left hands. So let's just do one more a little bit faster, and see if you can keep up. 1, 2, here we go. And second line, let's go. There it is. All right, so that is it for us for this one. So make sure you do keep this sheet handy. You can screenshot this or practice along with it on your own time to try and get more confident in this one. I will go ahead and put up some more videos about practicing our sight reading, practicing our two hands playing at the same time. We'll do a mix of some songs and some more of these kinds of exercises for you guys to practice with. I hope it is helpful having me break these down for you instead of just taking this down on your own. And I hope you can get the hang of this reading the gaps thing because it's so much helpful, especially on piano where we have chords, we have a lot of notes going on with both hands, and we have right and left hand to read. So I think it's even more important than on other instruments where you might just have one note at a time and you only have to be familiar with the treble clef. This one we have to read treble and bass. And so in this one we did just do two trebles on top of each other to make the reading part a bit easier. But obviously most pieces you read will be treble and bass clef, so we'll go ahead and jump into that very soon. Thank you for tuning in. Have fun playing. We'll see you next time.